Hello, everybody, and I'm sorry I'm late because I was over at another channel, but welcome in to Convo After Dinner. Just a conversation about an observation of things that I question about things that come out of people's mouths. I do my best not to make up anything. I only speak about the things that I actually hear. Salute to the chat. And thank you again for pulling up as we continue our conversation regarding Nolan Wells. If you can hear me, can you please put a one in the chat? I was changing out my earbuds, so I'm not sure if you can hear me. So if you can hear me, please. Again, I'm sorry, I'm having some technical issues for some reason. It keeps signing off. But again, if you can hear me, please put a one in the chat as we continue our conversation. So, because I have been doing lives before, it's going to be the first time that I really try to invite people up on my panel. So, I'm going to try in between all of this to drop my link again because I'm still learning how to use this whole situation. It may take me a minute to figure it out, but I will eventually. I do know that Shank was on the live, and I just wanted to give him a time to end this live, and I had to leave his panel really quickly, so that's what happened. But of course, we'll still be discussing. Um, my title tonight was, I think, did Nolan Wells have a personal Uber? And again, I'm going to discuss what is actually said and then kind of figure out what I'm still trying to figure out. How did he get to the pier where the boats docked from? Because I really do think that that is a very important part to our story. So again, I just want to take a chat my time to note it. I'm a little nervous, so I want to take this moment to acknowledge the people in the chat. Give me a moment because I do wear two sets of eyes here. So salute to Daniel Bridgeford 6501. Thank you so much for pulling up. Cornell Lynch 730. Hey, thank you so much for pulling up. I see Nee Barnes 248. Hey girl, hey. Clarinetta Gunsby 6427. Thank you so much for pulling up to the live tonight. You guys go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Because I do have another job, I don't come often, but when I do come often, there are always good conversations and good observations as well. Hey, Leslie Bean, thank you so much for pulling up. I appreciate you. Roger Lee, 1971, thank you so much for pulling up tonight. And let's see, did I miss anybody? Latasha Boss Lady, hey, thank you so much for pulling up to the live chat tonight. Again, as we delve into the Nolan Wells story and just have conversation about the things that we are hearing coming out of these people's mouths that are closely involved with this. And, just keeping it 100. I have so many thoughts about this because usually when I watch some of the lives, I hear, but I'm always distracted by the things that I'm doing right now, moving around. So sometimes it takes for me to play the demonstrations over, but only listen without actually looking at the people that's presenting their lives because I can hear things more clearly than, and those are the things that pique my curiosity. Tone Shifter, thank you so much for pulling up. Hey, Memphis Native 555, thank you so much for pulling up to my live tonight. The Bridge View withdraws. I'm sorry. Hey, and hey, Shake Rock, thanks so much for pulling up. Could you please drop the disclaimer in the chat, please? And if I missed anybody, that's because um, the chat is moving a little faster. That you may have been here while I was trying to get myself together. But again, I want to continue the discussion about how Nolan got from the buddy's house to the, I would assume they took off from the bayou, so that we could determine, like, how many people he was in contact with. Again, as I began to listen to more of the conversation, um, Jax, which was, I think he's the guy with the gray shirt on, he mentioned that Nolan never had to drive anywhere because they picked him up and took him everywhere. So then it led me to think, well, his car was at your house, so, well, I guess you just didn't pick him up that day, because his car was at your, he drove himself to your house, or, well, him and Warren couldn't be together because Warren said he left at 7 o'clock in the morning. So that means Nolan was in his own car and then Warren was in his car. Hmm. So if Warren left Nolan at 7 a.m., how did Nolan get to the, how did he get to the pier to take off on the boat? And Nolan, which was Warren's like best friend, that was his bro. How did he get on a boat with Bart and let Nolan get on the boat with Wyatt? Now, are we to believe that Nolan was best friends to all of these guys? Because to me, and you guys can let me know how you feel about it, to me, Warren had a bunch of buddies. Like, this friend group was probably the size of a whole football team because there was so many groups of buddies that it's like you can never determine who he's actually talking about, because he's got this group of buddies and his other buddies over here and the other buddies did this and the other, but there are so many groups of people, according to Warren, that's a part of this large friend group. Now, I can't say that much about, children from other demographics, but I can think about my son and my brothers. They all have friends, but it was just maybe a group. Normally, it's basically consists of just like three people that are really, really tight, maybe four. But these are groups and groups of buddies. Like, Warren knew everybody in Ocean Springs. Like, he was buddies with everybody because he's introduced us to all these people within the story. But the strange part about it is none of these buddies have names. So, when it comes to Jack and Morgan, this is my first time hearing their names. I don't know, maybe I may have heard Jack once, but Morgan, I've never heard that name. So we have her Wyatt's name and we have her Bart's name. So why aren't they interviewing with Officer Tatum? It's random people because remember, this is a very, very, very large friend group. Maybe a whole football team. I don't know. Just a bunch of friends, a bunch of groups of Warren's buddies that I guess he can just pick whichever ones he want to interview with Officer Tatum with at any moment because there's so many groups of friends. And it's like, okay, this is really insane. So I wanted to see if we can really focus on, and I'll take any information. How did Nolan Wells get to the pier where they left from? If one was to say, well, him and Warren was communicating, and Warren told him where they were going to leave from, and he got in his car and drove there. I can understand that. But then that means his car would have been there. And more than likely, he would have had his keys with him. So basically, they stripped away his phone, which would be be a way for him to communicate, and his car, which would be a way for him to get where he needed to go. So, two of the most important things for him to be safe was not in his possession. So, let's say Jack took him to the place. Jack took him because Jack did say he was almost like Nolan's personal Uber. Now, I put in the name Uber because he didn't say that, but he did say Nolan never had to drive anywhere. They picked him up to go everywhere, even though he had his own car. But yet his car and I suppose Warren's car were both at your house because they stayed the night over there, I guess, so you all could leave together to go and get on the boat. But yet Warren left at 7 a.m. and more than likely left not only Nolan behind, but you as well. Why did Warren leave Nolan behind? Because we still can't say, even though Warren seemed to be friends with all of these people, we can't necessarily say that Nolan was. And a question that came to me was, if he spent all of his time with them, what about his other friends who we all saw him doing TikTok dances with? Him and another friend looked like they may have been at a school dance and they were dressed really nice, and the two girls came and bombed their TikTok video. Where were those friends? But these were still the same friends that attended his homegoing. So none of those groups of buddies that Warren claimed to be their best friends, they all did not attend his homegoing because they all thought that people were going to jump on them. Like, somebody has to help me make sense. And I do want to hear from whoever has anything to share. So I'm going to attempt to kind of drop the link in case anybody want to join up. But I see, let's see. Tone shifter, you said what kind of did Nolan have, but I'm not understanding. Are you saying what kind of phone did he have? I don't know, but these days I'm quite sure all of these young adults have iPhones. I can't say that to be true because I don't know. But more than likely, especially with the Life 360, I'm quite sure it's possible that he had an iPhone. And so let's see here. Okay, yeah. So as I begin to again listen to some of the conversation that the attorney was there, which was really weird to me, but that attorney kind of reminds me a little of Donald Trump. You know, Donald Trump is the kind of person that he'll just say anything, whether he means it or not. If it's on his mind, he's just going to say it. But when the attorney said that everyone that was, you know, I guess trying to defirm those, he didn't say the great guys from Ocean Spray. He said great guys of the United States. If anyone was trying to defirm their character, that they would be drugged into court and it would be painful. And I'm still wondering, what did he mean by that? What did he mean by it would be painful? Does anybody have any idea what did he mean by that? Exactly, Leslie. Who are these buddies? So there's all these buddies. There's buddies everywhere. Buddies, buddies, buddies. And I just can't imagine one person knowing that many people and calling them all buddy and brothers and best friends. Like, sometimes you know a lot of people. Sometimes you may just be at a park or at the gym or somewhere just kicking it with people, but that don't make them your best friends. Is it possible that Warren was lonely for friends? I'm not sure why, because he did have other siblings. But it's just so odd to me that every time he interviews, there's always some more buddies. Exactly. Nene Barnes. Can we put a name on it? Can we put a name on it? Because exactly, they're witnesses. But are they? Because one thing we can't do is allow Warren to introduce all these different people. Because you know what? Everybody's going to have a different story. I think with me, when it comes to really, really wanting to know how Nolan got to the dock to take off to go to Horn Island, knowing how he got there is to me a very important part of the beginning of what happened to him. Now, the one thing that the attorney said, and I wish that I'm going to pull up that video because I want you guys to hear what he said when he says, um, it's impossible for what he saw of the island and the amount of people that were around. It was impossible for Nolan to be unaligned on that island with all those people around. And that's one thing that a lot of content creators alluded to. Even the famous Nancy Grace, with all these people, those are witnesses. So if the attorney says that it's impossible for that to happen on that island with all those people around, well, attorney, where did it happen at? Because I don't even think Nolan Wells could have drowned with all those people around. I mean, am I wrong for thinking that? Absolutely, the bright view. That's exactly what I was saying. None of all of those buddies showed up. Even if Warren decided that he didn't want to show up because of repercussions, which I don't think would have happened, none of the other buddies showed up as well. But now his homeboys, his African American friends, they were all there. And just paying attention to undertones of how they're phrasing this with um, Brandon Tatum. The whole time he's interviewing, I'm acting like I'm in court saying, I object, Your Honor, leading. He's leading the witness because he is leading all of these questions. But the way he leads the question, it always bring up that same race-based tone. Like he's edging them to keep that tone going when I don't think nobody's really talking too much about that. They're just trying to find out what happened to Nolan. But Officer Tatum seems to be just running with that narrative, like, you know, all the way down to the remark he made about Trayston. He was denied at the corner store. And Warren said, oh, he got called out in Walmart. But yet when they were approaching a fancy restaurant having dinner. Make that, I mean, do you guys see what I'm saying? They were approaching a fancy restaurant, and it's so crazy because none of them really did anything to them. But when they got outside, some of their other buddies stated that somebody told them they should leave before they attack. Just because somebody is with somebody, you can't associate that. But because Warren is putting out all this, that he has all these buddies, so that means that there's all of these different groups of buddies that can't go anywhere because they're afraid. I don't I don't understand it. Give me one moment. Okay. Okay. So there's all these other buddies who now they can't go anywhere. But who's recognizing these people? I mean, more than likely, if I saw Warren, I'll probably recognize him. Probably not right out, but I'll probably say, "Oh, he looks like." And then, like the girl in the restaurant, I'll probably have to go back and get my phone and pull up a video and say, "Oh, yes, that's him." But for the most part, because he's throwing out all of these other buddies, who's recognizing his buddies? Because he has so many of them. But let's check out this attorney as well. But to me, when I listen to him speak, when I just listen to him speak, it's like he's there and he's saying these different things, but at the same time, he's kind of alluding to something else. And so that's why I kind of brought up 8701. These are my confessions about Usher because I don't know, it's just kind of weird the way he was answering questions and how Morgan on the other end was laughing and they tried to edit it out, but they missed the point to edit and it still showed him laughing. And I'm thinking, what is really going on here? Like, what is really going on here? Because it's just kind of weird. Uh-oh. Okay. The brighter view, hmm, to me, just for me, it's hard for me to really get a good handle on Tristan. I don't know what made him come out with Warren in the first interview because he's never mentioned in the beginning. The only thing that was mentioned about him, the only thing that I put in him was that he says Warren called him twice around 11:15, something like that, but he didn't answer. But how do you know that was Warren calling? What if somebody was calling from Warren? I'm sorry, Nolan. What if somebody was calling you from Nolan's phone? You can't verify it was Nolan. Did he leave a message? Like most young people don't really do a lot of calling. They're more into texting and chatting, however they communicate. But rarely are they just really calling each other. But the one thing that I was speaking about earlier about how Coach Munkin said that, hey, couldn't y'all just put me in that group picture using AI? It would have been just like I was there. And when I look at some of these pictures where there's these 10 guys, these 10 YT guys, and then there's Nolan right there in the front with shades on, the same shades he's wearing in just about all the other pictures where he's pictured with them. Did anybody notice that? Well, yeah, yeah, you might be right, the Bridgewater. It's possible that he does. Absolutely. But the only one that's at Butterfly Baby, the only person that's pushing that racial undertone is Officer Tatum. And I can't understand why. I can't understand why he's pushing the undertone of racism. Because I don't think that many people are talking about that. I think they're only trying to figure out what happened to Nolan. Because many people have alluded to say there is no way that there is a fight. That was the only thing that Tracer was there for, to verify that he got in a fight as he was leaving. He said something slick to Nolan, but then he goes up and then some other guy confronted him about the way he's talking to his girl, and they get into a fight, and then Nolan's brother is on a fight in a fight over there, and like, but there's hundreds of people, or in this little clutter, there's hundreds of people in this little clutter. So how could there be 3 fights going on? I mean, you have to make it make sense. Karen Angel 5972. Yes, his phone has been turned in, and it is currently being evaluated. Why Trace and come out and talk about? Yeah, I'm not sure, but with Trace and there, I don't know, and especially with him, Trayson being, I believe Trayson was the only one that was interviewed by major networks, right? He was interviewed by TMZ and he was interviewed by ABC. Wasn't Trayson the only one that was interviewed by major networks? Okay, and then yeah, Bridgeford says that where is the park ranger who found Nolan's remains? We never saw him or heard from him, and nobody, I mean, nobody, not even us, are asking where the park rangers are. So, okay, I don't know what happened, but I'm going to say it like this: this is an open investigation, and it just behooves me why. Um, it just behooves me why Warren is consistently interviewing with Tatum. I don't understand that. It's an open investigation, but when I look at the line of questioning, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, why is he interviewing to social media in the world with a live investigation? I don't understand. I just don't. I don't understand why he's doing that. And that may be why the park ranger is not, you know, like coming out, because it is a an open investigation. So, you know, but to me, I just feel like I just feel like it's all kind of weird to me. But that attorney is. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to figure something out here. I apologize. Um, but anyway, so that's why I feel like the park ranger. Maybe people with real sense are kind of like knowing when not to really go public with anything, because you want to make sure that you don't go and say something um, that you really shouldn't say, or that can come back to you in court. I can say really what this looks like to me as far as how they're going about this. But to me, I really don't think, and this is just my opinion, allegedly, it's just my opinion. I don't really believe that attorney um, believe this situation as well. But you know, Hey, if I can make a quick $100,000, I'd probably do it too. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. That seems to be what is going on here with Trace, and it's like, I'm not Trace and Warren. It's like he's just throwing stuff, and every time, even in this latest interview, every time he throws something out, he immediately looks at whatever the others are going to say. It's like he's afraid. Like, what are they going to say? What would they say? That's how it appears to me. Like he's consistently on edge about what is going to be said. I'm still trying to figure this out here. Oh, it's right there. Okay. All right. So I did want to catch some of this video, and so just a moment here while I can I just remove this. Okay, one moment. Let's see if we can pull this video up. Let's see. This clown. Okay, let's go back here. Picture short. Okay, there it is. Okay, so I do want to listen to some of this video, which is insane here. And I hope I'm at the attorney. That's the part that I hope I'm at. This. This time now. There we go. Okay. So could you put a one in the chat if you can hear me? I'm having network issues, and I think it has a lot to do with the meteor shower that's going to be that's going to be taking place. So the network here, my network issues are really, really bad. So if you can put a one in the chat, if you can hear me. Okay. This is crazy. This is crazy.